Thank you, everybody. So thanks for joining us today, and thanks for VentureBeat for giving us the opportunity to present. So I'm glad the slide is actually working better now. So I know we had some technical difficulties yesterday as well. So I'm actually going to simply show you a bunch of slides and some examples. And obviously, I can actually demo more bots if you get a chance to meet me in person. So first of all, Core is an intelligent bots platform. We are announcing our bots platform officially to the public. We've been actually in beta for several months now, working with roughly about 40 different companies. We basically offer three separate things. One is there is a platform for you to build bots, any custom bots. Second is, of course, there is an actual bot store where you can simply go use the bots that you want to simply use. And third is, and those are the individual bots. And third is, we have our own universal bot that comes out of the box so that you don't have to build your own universal bot. You can start from there. So I think everybody here knows what a bot is. So no surprise there. Chatbots are becoming very, very popular, no doubt. We allow you to do a human-initiated conversation, of course, where the human starts the discussion by wanting to take an action like go create a lead in the case of a B2E scenario, CRM use case, or maybe help me find some products I'm looking for from a commerce perspective, or bring information to the user like an alert about a particular item going on sale, and maybe you want to buy it. But we also allow you to take actions on those alerts, right? So we made these alerts more actionable so that I can actually first talk to the bot. I could, in this case, the one I'm showing you right now, I can ask for a forecast report from my CRM system. And the bot will actually have this out-of-the-box NLP enabled, so it'll actually have a dialogue conversation with you. If it needs more information, it'll come back and ask you for more information and get me my forecast report. And then, of course, if I choose to act on that forecast report, such as I want to go update an opportunity or something along those lines, it actually has the context to know that you actually updated an opportunity that was in your forecast report. So it'll actually choose to ask you on its own, saying, would you like to now update the forecast? So that context handling and that relevance is also baked into sort of the way the bot interacts and responds. Now, you can have bots for individuals and for teams. Sorry, just to quickly go back. So the context can be both from an individual perspective as well as from a team perspective. It doesn't have to be just for individuals. And one of the interesting things that we're seeing a lot with our customers is they want to be able to decide how they want to aggregate the bots. Because for a large enterprise like Citibank in this example, they may choose to decide multiple universal bots for different groups of individuals in their company. So for example, they may choose within the employee realm, they create a specific sales bot that talks to various sales-related systems only, like CRM, et cetera. Or on the consumer side, they may create a bot that is specifically for certain kinds of product owners. So they are actually wanting to choose how they aggregate the different bots into a unique offering for a particular class of user. The other thing is, what's interesting is more complex use cases. One of the things that we're seeing a lot is, like this is an example of travel. Everybody recognizes this. I had to travel since she was just asking. I came from Orlando. So I had my own travel process. I booked a ticket. I charged it to my corporate credit card, let's say, expensed it, blocked my calendar, get an Uber, whatever the case may be. The universal bot, Cora, that we provided to you out of the box, actually gives you a way for you to interact with a single bot and talk to all the underlying bots underneath the covers. So Cora will actually talk to, let's say, your Concur bot, which is what we use for travel and expense management, for booking travel and expensing the travel. Or it'll actually talk to my Google Calendar bot because we use Google, so it'll block my calendar, for example, or the Uber bot. So it, underneath the covers, will actually talk to various different bots in order to drive the conversation forward. Now, one of the things that we are doing here is making sure that bots don't just live in one channel or the other. A bot is a bot is a bot. We want it to live in n number of channels because every enterprise, let's say a bank, is not going to be able to dictate where their users are. They're going to want to reach the users where they are. So in our case, once you build a bot in Core, you can actually give it an email address. You can give it a phone number, so you can SMS the bot. You can basically say, I want the bot to live within Slack or Facebook Messenger, or even within your website. So obviously, a bank has an online banking or a mobile application. Have the bot live there. But it's one definition of a bot, one conversation, and it's omnipresent, omni-channel, so you can actually start a conversation from one channel, continue on to another channel with the same bot in this case. So here's an example of Disney that we're working with where they want the bot to live within the website. Obviously, they want to brand and personalize the bot. It's a Mickey bot in this case. So I completely agree with the previous comment that Piyush made. We do believe that there is a room for bots to live within existing properties. So here in this case, it's more of a companion type of a conversation where I can interact with the bot and I can tell the bot, hey, I want to book a room at one of the Disney resorts. And then the UI is actually driven by the bot and vice versa, where if I do something in the UI, the bot comes back and says, I want to do this. So we have a full platform that allows you to actually build your own bot. And of course, as I said, we have a bot store with a bunch of different bots that you can start using from day one. Thank you.
Thank you,
Please
Amit.
see me later, and we'll be able to show you more bots. Thanks.
Terrific. Next up, we have Mike Brevoort, CTO, Robots and Pencils, Beepboop.
Hi, everybody. Wow, I thought that you'd owed me a nickel for sure, but you actually did a really good job on my name.
Thank you.
Which one here? Let's see. All right. All right. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm Mike Brevoort. I'm the founder of Beepboop and the CTO of Robots and Pencils. Beepboop is a bot hosting platform that's been launched for about 6 months now. Robots and Pencils, we make mobile apps, bots, games, things for people and customers and clients. And so today we're announcing that Beepboop as a generic bot hosting platform is now going to focus exclusively on Slack and as a Slack integration platform. And in addition to that, we're announcing better support for teams to collaborate on Beepboop. And one of the reasons that we're doing this is that we found that the consumer versus the enterprise use cases for bots are actually really different. Whereas on the consumer side, there's lots of attention to marketing, advertising, brands, games, entertainment. And on the enterprise side, it's more about collaboration and context. And we think that we could have a much bigger impact on how people work together. And so let's just talk a little bit about Slack. And so I think Slack is so powerful. It's been transformative to our organization. But what you have is, you have this convergence of people, systems, and data into a very specific context that, from a Slack perspective, which I think is different and unique, is it's in a very humane way. And so the way I look at Slack is more than just a messaging platform. I look at Slack as a human-first operating system. And so if we look at how we create applications in the past or how we've communicated with each other in the past, it's very much been through computers. And now with platforms like Slack, we have this opportunity to not just talk through computers, but actually talk to systems, to computers, at the same level at which that we talk to each other. So as humans understand each other, our systems can start to understand each other as well. And so I just want to walk you through a really quick demo here. Oh, it jumps in and started already, but it starts with a mobile push notification from Slack, and this is for leads coming in from Salesforce. And so we're using a Slack interactive message here, and the first thing we'll see is down here, Josh, who's one of our people on this channel, he passes on the opportunity. So a lead comes in, you can either claim or pass the opportunity. I pass on the opportunity, but I don't want the opportunity to be missed. So I'm going to reach out to Tracy in context in here in the conversation, and notice how structured and sort of ad hoc workflows all work together seamlessly with this bot. So I asked Tracy if she can take this lead because I don't want it to be dropped. She says, sure, I have time. And she goes ahead and claims the lead, and we update the message. That's the record. And we're also keeping track of how long did it take to claim the lead. We're storing that as an analytic, as a business analytic, which is really important to us. And then notice we create a new channel here automatically for that lead. It gets associated to a Salesforce record. And then we can continue the conversation here and have notes get applied to that Salesforce record and see notes that are applied to the Salesforce record as they come in. And the thing I think here is that this isn't a very complex use case. However, if this is your process, you very well might not find this in the Slack app directory, not this specific one. And actually, you don't actually see a generic Salesforce bot because Salesforce is so very specific to how you use it. It's hard to generalize it. So this is one particular process for one client that we have that we created and mimic their workflow in Slack. And it's very powerful because you have Slack as a mobile app and a platform that you can build upon, and you get mobile push notifications, and you get all this integration. And that's particularly what they wanted and what they needed. And so that's the other point, is that your company is very unique. And I think I know I've been part of RFP processes and companies where you're basically looking for products that don't exist, that features that don't necessarily exist. And in the past, custom software has always sort of been this black sheep with a really high TCO. And very difficult, right? And very costly. And so we think there's a significant opportunity to use Slack as an operating system to build custom software. And that's either for your company or that's for people offering products within Slack that are customizable. And what we want to do is get you to that last mile, right? So that basically 90% of the cost is built on top of Slack and on top of Beepboop, and we can enable you to really, open up Slack and take the most advantage of this platform where you have all of your company connected all the time, reachable on any platform. So you get, authentication, authorization, group management. You get native clients, web clients. If you ever create an application for the enterprise, you have to make these decisions of is it a web app, is it a mobile app? Am I going to put another trash app in my company's hands? So, we think that there's a tremendous opportunity to do this. And so, if you're interested in talking about how your company can better leverage Slack or how your product can better reach users, I'd love to talk to you. So, thanks everyone. Who's next?
Mike. Okay, next up, we have Puneet Mehta, CEO, Msg.AI.
Well, hello. If you had a seat belt, I would ask you to put it on now, because what you're going to see is the biggest takeoff since the origin of bots. There we go. So we are Msg.AI. We are a deep learning platform for conversational commerce, and bots that brands build, mostly Fortune 500 companies, on our platform are deployed across messenger apps, chat, and SMS. Now, when we started working with brands, some of the most innovative ones around the world, we figured out they were looking for 3 things from bots. And this was not surprising. The first one, they wanted a conversion lift. The second is they wanted to figure out a way to reduce service costs. And the third, they wanted to delight everyone that their bots talk to. Now, if I was a bot, right, and I spoke to you slowly in a slower pace than I normally do, maybe you like that. But maybe you want me to speak really fast. Maybe you do understand my Indian accent, and I can go on and on and on in Hindi, right? Now, are those 3 different bots? Or is that the same bot? So what we figured out and what we are launching today is the biggest advancement in bots since the origin of bots is multivariate testing for chatbots. Why do we need this? Now, this is a new interaction UI, which can have so many different dimensions. In a tap and type interface, you're tapping on certain boxes, but you're also talking in natural language. Now, there's so many different ways of talking in natural language. With websites and apps, we had normalized an interaction model with clicks and created a lot of predictability. Now we are entering a land of unpredictability. The second is, this is also the most personal customer connection a brand would ever have. You're entering a space which is normally owned by their friends. And lastly, this has never been done before. So, would love to show you a quick demo of how this actually works. So since we are a deep learning platform, we have been able to, our PhD data scientists have been able to put together a bunch of algos so that brands don't need to hire PhDs to do this. And in this case, you're seeing someone configure an actual variant list. So in this case, there are 2 variants, and their weights distributed across the 2 variants. And just by configuring different types of cards, different type of responses that they can attach, in this case, they are mapping it to a weekend versus a weekday. And what ends up happening just in this user interface, like if you can actually use Facebook, you can use this interface. You don't need a PhD. That's the kind of, that's our purpose in life. But what ends up happening is when you attach it to different conditions and different situations, consumers from different age groups, consumers from different parts of the customer journey get a different experience. So in this case, a women fashion retailer has an onboarding flow and they recognize the age group of the customer, and they're talking about specific products instead of a generic onboarding experience. And they know that this person is looking for offers, so they bring up that kind of menu right in the beginning. And when you do a product drill down, again, they have specific offers that are mapped to customer segments from a part of the customer journey. So when you start talking about conversational commerce, this becomes super critical because this drives personalization. This is what consumers are not looking for, not a one-size-fits-all experience. Now, in case of another consumer, we would switch screens in a quick second. So in this case, you see that the customer was given a coupon. In another experience, a different customer from a different part of the world. Okay, I think some issue with the video. But what I wanted to say is a different customer from a different part of the world would get a completely separate onboarding flow, maybe even in a different regional language. Now, the result of this is massive personalization at scale, but really focused towards optimization for those 3 KPIs that you noticed. And what we are doing behind the scenes using deep learning is we are doing user attribute analysis. So we are able to create customer clusters and marry that to certain conversational UI. We are doing contextual driver mapping, everything from what the weather is like to what people in your social network are saying. And we are doing a quick switch optimization matrix. What that means is low-hanging fruit. There's so much low-hanging fruit that you can leverage. So when you start optimizing your funnel, you find where the leakage is, and you find where you're losing customers, and this is the only way to fix that. So we are launching today the industry's first enterprise-grade analytics and multivariate testing for chatbots. We are Msg.AI. I'll be around. Come see me. Thank you.
All right, Puneet. Good job. Next up, we have Eugenia, Kuyda, founder and CEO of Luka.
Hey. Really hard to talk about this after this great presentation. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about Luka. Here he is. I first met Luka when he was 9. He's a kid. He's a son of my friends, and you know how you make connections with those kids that are kind of like you? So I taught him skateboarding and Snapchatting and a bunch of other things. And so when he moved to boarding school and he was lonely and sad, he would text me almost every day, and we became really, really close friends. Now he's 13, and although I moved here to SF, I only see him maybe once a year. He still texts me every day, and I guess I'm his imaginary friend or something like that. It's a very important friendship to me. For the last 2 years, I've been working at a company that builds conversational bots, builds AI. And when I was thinking about the name for the company, I kept thinking, what are the conversations that are most valuable in my life? And I called the company Luka for a 10-year-old friend of mine that makes me smile every time he texts me. Chris Messina, who I admire a lot, nailed this term, conversational commerce. But we at Luka kept thinking to ourselves, what if there are conversations that are not necessarily selling you something or solving the practical use case for you that can still be valuable? A year ago, we started building a dialogue model that was based on a neural network. We were the first company to publicly launch an English-speaking chatbot that was based on a neural network. We called it Marfa. Its only goal was to become your best bot friend. It quickly got to the top charts on Telegram, and the engagement was kind of crazy. People sent 45 texts on average per session. And some of the active users sent even over 2,000 messages. What was interesting about Marfa, that it was the bot that was genuinely interested in the user. So everyone wants to build a bot that speaks. We kind of wanted to try to build a bot that will listen to you. This is one of the conversations, just to give you an example. But people would share so much in the conversations with Marfa. This is one of the profile that Marfa got from the user. And what we realized that people would share their frustrations, their personal anxieties, very, very personal things. And it was incredibly interesting to get all this data. What was more interesting that being a good listener, Marfa also managed to make connections with people. So these are some of the reviews that people left for Marfa. There was a lot of sad stuff, but I guess that was also inevitable. There were a lot of kids that were chatting. But we also realized that one personality does not necessarily fit all. Some found, while Marfa worked for some of the users, some found her manipulative and needy. So we started thinking, what other personalities we can build? And since Silicon Valley show was coming out with its season 3, we decided to build the chatbots for Silicon Valley show characters. But there was a problem. I only had tweets and subtitles to train the neural network. For example, for Ehrlich, that was only like 5,000 lines. Just to give you an example, for Marfa, we had a baseline data set of over 35 million lines. So clearly, that was not enough data. But then I thought, what if we don't need to train the system from scratch? What if we take the general baseline neural network and then add Ehrlich's tweets and subtitles on top of it, just to tweak its behavior, to add the personal touch, the vocabulary, the tone of voice, the way Ehrlich makes jokes or uses emoji, all those tiny things that kind of make us who we are. And it all worked. We had the Silicon Valley show characters Russ Hanneman, Richard Hendricks, and Ehrlich Bachman in the app for the users to chat with. And then we also added a bot for Prince. AI does not need to pass the Turing test to become a part of our everyday life. We as humans tend to anthropomorphize everything that we come into contact with. Cars, cats, dogs, even thunder and lightning. We seek emotional connection. We tend to bond with stuff that we interact for a long time with. So the only trick is to stick around long enough to make these mechanisms kick in. And this is what we're building at Luka, AI with personality that you will feel connected to. Technology, even the most sophisticated one, tends to commoditize over the years. But relationships don't. And this is what matters for us most. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugenia. Next up, we have Sam Vasisht, CMO, SVP, Global Marketing.
Pretty good. I thought you surely were going to botch that last name. But hi, everyone. MindMeld is an advanced AI company based here in San Francisco, and we are building conversational interfaces for any device or application. And what that really means is that the conversational interface can take the shape of a bot, or it can take the shape of a voice assistant, or it can take the shape of a combination of these things. And the demo I'm going to show you will show you the sort of multimodal approach that we take. And the reason I mentioned that is because as of yesterday, and also generally what I've been hearing, there seems to be camps forming around different ideas, around voice assistants versus bots, apps versus messaging, text versus touch, and so on. And we believe, or at least our philosophy is that conversational interfaces embrace all these different modalities, and ultimately the goal is to provide a terrific user experience no matter what the application is, no matter what the platform is. And in order to do that, we want to embrace everything that's available to us. Obviously, we apply it in different measure for different applications. Not to focus on the eye chart here, but I want to point out that we are a B2B platform, so we don't have our own bot, we don't have our own application. We work, our platform is designed to enable our customers to achieve these end goals. And what that means is, unlike many other companies, we don't pre-build anything. We don't pre-build content domains. We don't pre-build natural language models. Instead, we use our customers' data, which is often proprietary data, to then build these solutions for them, build their natural language models, build their content domains, and so on. And one last point on the last slide is that the platform is enabled to, or enables us to do this in a very fast, scalable way. So the customers and prospects that we're talking to fall into many different categories. As you can see, these are all large categories, all very distinct categories. And even within a category, there are large enterprises that have very unique needs that we need to cater to. So the demo that I'm going to show you today, out of many demos that I could have shown, I'm going to show you one that's an in-store shopping demo. And I chose this for a very specific reason. We've all seen the evolution of online commerce, e-commerce over the last 10 or 15 years, and it continues to evolve even based on some of the demos we saw yesterday. And at the same time, in-store shopping has stagnated. It hasn't really evolved over the course of time, except for now with the availability of conversational interfaces, it's possible to transform this experience that people have when they go into a store. And so I'm going to show you a video that highlights a few vignettes that illustrate this point that I just made. So what I'm going to show you is a multimodal conversational interface where users can interchangeably use voice, type, touch, and swipe to search, navigate, and transact in a physical store. I think the search and the navigate part are the ones that are interesting. The transaction part is just basically checking out of a cart, and that's something that you'll just have to sit through, unfortunately, but it's all wrapped into the same video. One caveat, the demo does not represent any specific customer that we're working with or any specific project. I don't have the liberty to disclose any of those details. And so any resemblance to any business, living or dead, that you might see is purely coincidental. Right? So the video is going to scroll through 3 vignettes. I just want to call them out so that you know what you're looking at. The first one is, and these are 3 scenarios that everybody experiences when they walk into a store. In fact, one of them was pointed out by the gentleman from Flipkart, which is you walk into a store and the first thing you want to know is where something is located. So you're going to see how not only can you identify where something is located using a conversational interface, but it also enhances the experience that a person has. The second thing is you see something in a store that you like. Maybe it's something on a mannequin that you want to find out if it's available in your size, different color, maybe a slightly different style, and you can basically just scan the tag and get that information. And the third one is you find something on a rack that you like, but it's not available. You can't find one in your size, and you want to check if it's available. If it's not available, what options do you have? So these are the 3 vignettes that are going to be in the video, and since we're running out of time, I'm just going to ask them to roll the video. Thank you. I'll give you a quick narrative, and if you want to see the video, I'll put it up on YouTube. If you don't mind, you can take my email, sam@mindmeld.com. Send me an email with your contact, and I'll send you back the link for the video. So what you would have seen is basically a voice interface used to find products. And it would give you something like this, where it would give you not only the location, but also give you the items that you're looking for. Now notice that was a very specific query, men's cotton t-shirt with graphic designs. You'll see the same example in text where somebody just says men's t-shirts, because nobody's going to type type in the way that they speak. So you get a different set of results because it's a different query. And so that's one example. Then you can drill down in terms of continuing to interact. You can find a T-shirt. You can scan the tag. You can tap on an item, get information, things like that. So now you've got this multimodal interaction taking place. And then subsequently, the second one is where you find an item you want. You just scan the tag, and then you can start saying, is this available in a different color? Is it available in sleeveless? Is it available in different design? Those kind of things you can start doing. So that's an example where you're actually not speaking, but you're using touch and type and scanning to interact with the conversational interface. And the third one would be similar, where you find an item, you scan it, and then it asks you, or you can ask it, do you have it in my size, whether that be through a touch button, or you could even type in the text bar below. You can type anything, regardless of what the menu items are, and it will basically understand that you are asking it something very specific that is not necessarily part of the built-in menu that is intelligently generated, but it's designed to facilitate a much faster workflow. But you can always override that and essentially go to the text bar or the voice bar or the microphone to basically initiate either a new query or a modification to the options that are available to you. So that's what I have. Thank you. And we're MindMeld, the conversational interface company. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Next up, we have Dror Oren, VP of Product and co-founder of Kasisto.
Okay. Hello. So I felt that it was the wrong decision to do an actual live demo, but now I'm not sure. Maybe it will work better than the video. But I am going to need my hands for that. So, hello, everybody. My name is Dror Oren. I'm one of the co-founders and the VP of product with Kasisto. So in this kind of conference, I guess I don't need to tell you guys that not all bots are created equal. We at Kasisto believe that high IQ bots require two main things. One is deep AI, and the other one is domain expertise. As a spin-off out of SRI International, the company that also created Siri and a bunch of other companies, we're deeply rooted within the AI, and we trained our bots to speak fluent banking. Now, what I want to show you today is MyKai, our smart banking bot. We created MyKai basically to, oops, I don't want to steal my thunder. So we created MyKai to show a little bit of the glimpse into the future of what smart banking bot can look like. It helps you track expenses, manage your money, and do payments. And it does all of that on leading messaging platforms, including SMS, Facebook Messenger, and Slack. MyKai is available today. So I'm actually going to be showing, again, a live demo. So if we can move to my phone. So I'm going to be opening up my real phone and my real Facebook Messenger. So no judgment there. Oops. Yeah, that's real. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of what MyKai can do. So MyKai can answer a lot of questions about your accounts, things like how much money do I have in my account, what's my balance in my Wells Fargo checking account, or how much do I own my credit card. So I can say things like how much money do I have. And this is connected to real accounts. Hopefully the network is strong enough. Then another thing that MyKai can do is, so it's conversational, so it comes back and actually asks you a question, they want to break it down. Obviously not a good balance, right? Mortgages in the Bay Area are pretty intense. So I can ask to see the actual transactions. The Wi-Fi is a little slow here, so I apologize for the delay, but you can see that these are real accounts with real kind of like banks. I can ask questions like about transactions. So we support transaction questions, including categories, merchants, questions around date ranges, fees, deposits. So I can say things like, for example, how much did I spend, and again, no judgment, on junk food in 2015. So that's not too bad. I can actually ask to see the transactions, or can continue, but just to show that these are real. I can say something like, what was my largest hotel transaction in 2016? Or ask something like, well, we do live in the Bay Area, so how much did I spend on Uber in May? And again, these are all obviously natural language conversational interactions. Or just say, I'm looking for a 200, or let's say 250 check. So, I don't know exactly if it's 250 or not, but I trust Kai to actually find within a range and actually find the checks that I was looking for. Kai is also trained to actually know a lot of general banking kind of like questions. So you can ask stuff like, what is a CD, or what is a routing number? I'm going to skip that because I don't have a lot of time and I want to respect my 5 minutes. It also does payments. So I can, with Venmo, I can say, let's say, pay Sasha, who's my co-founder, let's say $20 for dinner. And Kai understands that, but I'm actually doing these demos way too often, so I'm not going to pay him $20. I'm going to say, make that 50 cents, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to pay to Zor, who's our CEO, because it's obvious. So obviously Kai understands that, and I can just go ahead with the payment. So this is MyKai. I welcome all of you guys and ladies, to go into Kasisto.com and get MyKai. If we can go back to the slides. we can continue and tell everybody about our exciting news. So what we're basically introducing today is that we're extending Kai to also support investing. So for the first time, users will be able to invest, ask about market, about their portfolio, create investing alerts, and make actual trading using a natural language interface on Facebook Messenger. In order to support that, we partnered with Trade.it, which is a leading technical provider of investing APIs. They allow quick and secure investments. This is going to be available in the fall. And until then, like I said, I invite you guys to go on. Everybody to go to Kasisto.com, get my Kai, and start playing with the smart banking bot in your own phone. Thank you.
All right, Dror. That was great. Up next, Mark Wasiljew, Director of Business Development for Fandango. Amen.
Hi, everyone. I'm back again. So as I think I mentioned yesterday, we have a pre-recorded demo here, but everything you're going to see is live today. You can access the bot via Facebook Messenger and follow along if you'd like. We play the video? So this is our movie discovery and ticketing bot built for Facebook Messenger. It's effectively a virtual concierge for moviegoers. Moviegoing is obviously a very social experience, and so Facebook's a natural platform for us to be starting here, leaning into existing behaviors. Ultimately, moviegoers have a core set of needs: a movie, a theater, and a showtime. And what we've done is basically built as many routes as possible for a user to go and get to that set of endpoints. So in this case, we're going to start with movies. One thing you'll notice is it knows my location, and so it can quickly get to a point where you can find local movies that are showing. Within any list of movies, you can quickly jump into a trailer if you don't know what the movie's about or you want to get familiar with what that movie might be. Quickly jump back into the list and easily pull up another trailer until you can find what it is that you want to see that night. Now, we're all in the early stages of bot technology. The bot, unfortunately, doesn't do everything that we want it to do always perfectly. So one of the things that we've done is that in any of these carousels, if you go all the way to the right, we've added an outlet for the user. So if they want to get to Fandango to find a more robust experience, if we're not unable to deliver exactly what it is they want, they can get back over to Fandango, get a full experience, serve an ad, of course, and then quickly jump back to get what they need. Now, I'm a big Anna Kendrick and Aubrey Plaza fan, so I'm going to go see Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Select the movie, click on theaters. You'll see we provide maps to the theaters if you don't know the area. I'm a little unfamiliar with the area, so find a theater that I want, click on showtimes, and we'll set you up with showtimes for this evening. I'd like to go to the late showing tonight, so click on Buy Tickets, and we'll drop you right into the purchase funnel where you can complete your purchase, select your seats, and be on your way. Now, we offer some other options as well. So you can go by theater. If you have a favorite movie theater that you always go to, you can start there. See what's playing at that theater and quickly get to a point where you can find your tickets as well. The third option is trending this week. We editorially curate on a daily basis the 5 most popular movies. So it may not be something that's playing today, but something that's opening this weekend that you might have in mind. So that's a bit of the core functionality. I'd like to get into something a little more fun now. We're starting to play with some of the natural language processing. So there's a new Bourne movie coming out later this month. When is that? You'll see not only can we give you the opening date of the movie so you know what's coming, but we'll also pull up a bunch of other Bourne movies. We're pretty excited about some of the functionality that we'll have coming up with that, where we can sort you out with solutions for Bourne Identity, Bourne Legacy, and some of the previous films in the franchise. The good news is you can now already buy your tickets for opening night. You go through the flows that we just talked through, and you're all set for July 29th for the first night of the Bourne movie. Now, one other thing I want to point out is the way we set this up is that you can effectively enter these queries, these natural language queries at any point. And so you're not stuck within a flow. You can always get out. We also have the start over buttons prominently. And so we want to ensure that the user never feels like they went down a path, they're stuck, they can't get out, and they don't know what to do. Now, for the movie that I think we're all most excited about this year, unfortunately, we're all going to have to wait till December to see that one. That's the end of the demo. One thing I do want to mention, we are doing more with natural language processing, and it's coming pretty fast. We want to be able to allow users to start to skip some of these steps. So you can type in something like, I want to see The Purge on Saturday night, and the bot will recognize the date and the movie and quickly get you into a flow where you're simply picking a theater and a showtime. And we're doing more and more of that, and that's all coming very quickly. I do want to say thank you to our friends at Facebook, our partners at Assist who helped us put this bot together, and the folks at VentureBeat for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.